This trip was more than just a regular hunt. It was a life or death mission. Although I fought, trained, and faced countless dangers during my time in the military, I've never encountered a creature as tough and persistent as the wild boars. That's why, in today's hunt, this swamp environment became a true battlefield. Holding my rifle tightly, I understood one thing clearly: every decision, every shot must be precise. One bullet, one life. That's the only rule I needed to follow. Swamp-dwelling wild boars not only destroy the ecosystem but also cause immeasurable damage to the surrounding environment. They wade through wetland areas, disrupt plant life, and tear up rice fields and gardens. Especially in the swamp, wild boars can easily hide and escape, making them incredibly difficult to pursue. Compared to land hunting, hunting wild boars in the swamp requires us to move more slowly and patiently, or risk slipping or losing our bearings. The swamp, a challenging environment, is ironically the perfect place for wild boars to hide, especially in murky mud pools or thick vegetation. During the journey through the swamp, we constantly battled strong currents and had to duck under tangled branches to keep the boat from crashing. Eventually, a small boat brought us to a completely unfamiliar area. Suddenly, one of my teammates spotted the silhouette of a large wild boar. Without hesitation, we climbed ashore and fired as soon as we saw it. The boar collapsed after a single shot. Soon after, we locked onto our next target, a giant boar weighing up to 120 kilograms. It was clear that this land was the ideal habitat for these monstrous wild pigs. That afternoon, I traveled alone down the river. The current had calmed since the morning. From a distance, I spotted my first target, a boar soaking in the mud. I carefully approached. Just as it stood up to flee, I took my shot and brought it down within seconds. Muddy wetlands like this are never short of boar activity. A fully grown wild boar was sunbathing nearby. It sensed danger and started to run, but my two quick shots ended that escape for good. Spotting a boar trying to escape, I stopped the boat and set up an ambush to cut it off. It panicked and turned to flee in the opposite direction, but it was too late. The gunshots echoed through the empty swamp, ending its escape. Leaving the forest and heading downstream to return, I noticed small muddy patches, clear signs that boars had passed through. I moved in and there it was. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. The wild boar let out one agonizing cry before collapsing. With success in hand, I headed home, tension and satisfaction mixing after a challenging day in the swamp. After a night's rest, we were back at the swamp early in the morning. Wild boar tracks were visible all over the soft ground, deep prints showing where they had passed. We followed the tracks, and suddenly the dogs began barking, signaling the prey was near. I approached cautiously. As the black silhouette emerged, I seized the moment and pulled the trigger. Wow, just look at it, a massive wild boar with coarse fur and razor-sharp tusks. Our next target that day was a group of tenacious boars hiding in a swamp near a residential area. It didn't take long. The airboat brought us right to the first target. We immediately launched our attack, giving the boars no chance to react. They scattered in panic in every direction, trying to escape, but there was no getting away from our determined pursuit. Our hunting results kept piling up, and with every step, it became clear this hunt was not only tactical but also a test of patience and determination in our effort to control the wild boar population. Time flew by, and before we knew it, evening had fallen, but the battle wasn't over yet. Our agile hunting dogs led us to another wild boar. I moved in and, without hesitation, fired a decisive shot. The target dropped instantly. The dogs were outstanding today. Once again, they guided us to another boar. I quickly aimed and fired. The boar didn't even have time to react. It fell without a sound. It seems my skills have improved a lot through these hunting trips. These precise, decisive shots are not only the result of experience, but also the perfect blend of keen observation, patience, and refined tactics. Thank you for following this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.
Jeez.
Wild boars, when their population grows uncontrollably, the boundary between nature and humans starts to blur. Devastated fields, ruined gardens, and even livestock no longer safe in their pens. In many areas, wild boars are no longer mere prey but have become invasive threats. That's exactly why we are here in these fields tonight. Hunting wild boars is not just a thrilling activity or an age-old tradition for seasoned hunters. It is a crucial measure for controlling their population. We set out at 10 p.m. The faint moonlight was barely enough to illuminate our path. Our team split into two groups, moving along the forest edge, where fresh traces of wild boars were still visible. Stopping near an open clearing, the rustling in the bushes signaled something approaching. As the thermal scope scanned the area, a herd of about 10 wild boars appeared. Without hesitation, the hunting rifles fired simultaneously. The first round hit its mark. 2 boars dropped instantly. 2 others attempted to flee, but couldn't escape their fate. About 30 minutes later, another group of wild boars emerged. Moving slowly, they were completely unaware of a lurking danger. We stealthily approached, and once in range, the signal was given. Gunfire shattered the silence. The boars panicked and scattered. Focusing on those that had strayed from the group, we seized the opportunity. After taking them down, we swiftly tracked the ones that had fled. With thermal imaging scopes, there was no hiding. Even the thickest bushes couldn't conceal them. A dangerous hunt, but this was only the beginning. We moved toward a rice field, an area where wild boars frequently scavenged for leftover grains. As the herd emerged, we had only seconds to react. Gunshots rang out. The first boar collapsed instantly. But there was no time to pause. The rest were bolting for safety. Dark silhouettes dashed through the scope. Another precise shot. One shot, one kill. Within moments, our prize lay motionless before us. Wild boars gathered here in large numbers, making it easy to locate them. From our hiding position, we aimed our rifles, waiting for the perfect moment. At the right time, we unleashed a hail of bullets, striking critical points with precision. The alpha boar fell, sending the rest into a frenzy. But before they could scatter, another round of fire ensured 3 to 4 more were taken down. We continued our ambush, taking down several more in swift, decisive attacks. This was undoubtedly one of the most exhilarating night hunts we had ever experienced. Minutes later, another wild boar herd appeared, cautiously moving closer. When they were in range, the team opened fire. 4 went down instantly, and though the others tried to escape, they were swiftly taken down as well. As the night deepened, more wild boars emerged. We fought relentlessly, determined not to let a single target escape. In less than a minute, 5 wild boars had fallen. By now, it was nearly 4 a.m., and the final encounter took place in an open field near a residential area. A large herd of wild boars was foraging. If left unchecked, the consequences could be disastrous. Wasting no time, we sprang into action, taking down our targets. The remaining boars realized the danger and scattered in panic. But in wild, survival favors the swift. One boar was struck down just as it tried to change direction. Finally, as the dust settled, the night returned to its eerie silence. We examined our haul. This had been a flawless hunt, swift, efficient, and incredibly successful.